Alright, well, here we go. Back in Westeros for some Song of Ice and Fire. Alright, I'm going to read the introduction. Only days ago, Queen Eleanor Castaigne gave birth to a stillborn child, rumored to be monstrous in appearance. King Maegor, in his wisdom, finally turned his attention to Queen Tiana, and Sir Maladon escorted the Pentoshi woman to the Black Cells. The Seven Kingdoms were in upheaval, as many lords had begun to raise their banners against the king, while the Faith Militant waged a full-scale civil war against the king's leal retainers. The pretender, Aegon Targaryen, King Maegor's nephew, had already been put down 5 years earlier. Now was a time of strength and cunning. King Maegor would have to possess those things in order to see his rule continue long enough to sire a child at last. Alright. So the year is 48 AC. And only days ago, as I said, King Maegor's most recent child was born stillborn and dead. And so we will move to this. You are currently in the Black Cells. And ahead of you is Queen Tiana in her cell, awaiting your judgment. You can move your token down the screen. Yes, it would be.
Maegor kind of walks down and crosses his arms in his perpetual scowl. He looks at Tiana and goes, I assume you've heard the news by now. Anything you care to say?
She was sitting on the floor and kind of gets up and looks fairly disheveled from what she normally looks like, and kind of approaches the bars in front of her. And, my king, I have heard. I do weep for you and Queen Eleanor.
I find that so hard to believe. I find those tears to be crocodile tears, and I believe you know more than you say. You are the master of whispers, after all.
Well, of course I knew that she gave birth to a stillborn. How would I know more than this?
Don't lie to me. There's one thing I can't stand. It's people talking to me as if I'm a fool.
She turns and kind of walks away, and then kind of paces around the room slightly, and kind of like is breathing heavily, and kind of returns, and she says, "You're right, my king. For how long have we been together? I am your love, your true love. That is what you told me."
You're one of many, as you can tell. And yet you have not. If you were truly my love, you would have produced an heir by now. But tell me, what have you produced? What gift have you given me?
I have kept you safe from those who only wished your seed to grow in power and pull the wool over your eyes, my king. That is why I've done what I've done.
And yet, Alyssa Balerion was able to slip away to Dragonstone, along with my sword, Dark Sister, bequeathed to me by my mother before her death. You were not there to stop that. You were not there to stop her fleeing with her children.
Am I to guard your possessions as well as know the secrets and keep yours? Isn't that
Yes,
your Kingsguards? And she kind of gives a glance over your shoulder to the Kingsguard behind you.
the Mistress of Whispers knows when my own kin are plotting behind my back, and yet you did not. You made me look the fool. Just like you make me look the fool with every stillborn monstrosity that comes from one of my brides. And yet you seem to have never suffered from that. Tell me, why? Before I grow bored with your explanation and summon the torturers.
I've never been fortunate enough to take seed, Your Grace.
Now you're saying I don't have enough of my manly virtue to impregnate you?
She shakes her head. No, that is a woman's duty, and I have failed in that, I agree.
You've failed me in far too many things. I think it is time to find out what you really know, as opposed to what you say you know.
My lord, I've told you everything that I can think of. She just steps back. I've told you that yes, the stillborns, they are of my doing. I only ask for mercy.
Ah, mercy. Yes, the one thing I'm known for, he said sarcastically. If it is mercy you want, I will spare you the same mercy that I have spared others. He kind of turns to Sir Moore and Sir Brax and says, bring her to the kennels.
As you command, Your Grace. And start heading towards the bars. Presumably with keys, unless I'm just going to tear the bars off.
No, yeah, you have keys. Yeah,
Yeah,
she comes out willingly, right? She doesn't fight as you bring her out. And she looks at Maegor and she says, My lord, please do me this one boon and end me quickly with a swift stroke of black fire across my neck.
You are in no position to tell me what to do anymore. And Maegor will go out to the kennels with her. And he'll kind of go up to her and almost mockingly stroke her cheek with his hand and goes, it was because of you that I have suffered all these monstrosities that were to bear my last name. It was because of you that House Haraway is now extinct. It is because of you that I have lost a great many things. And you, for that, have broken my heart. And it is only fair in turn that I break yours. Hold the bitch down. And with that, he draws Blackfire, rips her shirt off, and promptly begins to cut her heart out with Blackfire.
Yeah, she lets this just agonizing scream out for not long, because it does not take long to carve her still beating heart out. And you hold it in your hands as it continues to beat, even as her body stops moving.
Maegor looks at the heart and looks at the dead body and harumphs and casually tosses the heart to his dogs. And
they, do the whole fighting over it type of thing, right? As it hits the ground and rolls at their feet.
He looks at her and goes, dump this worthless bitch in the sewers.
As you command, your grace. Dump her right in the sewers and roll her right down and just throw her. No daintiness about it. Don't care what I hear breaking on the way down. It's just garbage.
Yeah, Sir Brax kind of aids, but has a pale expression on his face, kind of sickened by it, perhaps, just from the grotesquity.
Something bothering you, Sir Brax?
Not at all. I'm just simply, not used to seeing women take the king's justice.
Don't consider her a person at all. She was trash. Toss it from your mind.
He nods. Of course, Sir Maladon.
It's just like killing an animal. Only it talks back. Come now. Let's return to the king.
He nods and does so.
Maegor looks to his two Kingsguard and goes, well, I still do have one bride available to me.
Indeed, your grace. She will sire you a fine child, sir.
Sir Brax simply nods. It isn't his place to speak. So, a few days pass after the execution of Queen Tiana, and your, I believe, the 4th Grand Maester of your reign walks in to the throne room. It is Maester Benefir, and he comes after being granted an audience, and he comes upon you and kneels deeply. My king, I have come on a great and important errand with information that you must hear.
Speak.
My king, I, as the rest of Westeros, wept for the loss of your last child. But I must tell you, my king, you should take heart. There are rumors that I have been able to acquire from the Riverlands. And he kind of waves this parchment in his hand. From your Leo servant, Sir Boros Towers. He is the son of Sir Walton Towers, if you remember. The man you gave Harrenhal to. I have read this missive, my lord. And he offers it to one of the Kingsguard to give to Maegor.
I would come down and take it. And then, as I, approach the king, I would bow my head and offer it to him.
He snatches the letter from Sir Maladin's hand and reads it.
And as you read it, Benefir kind of summarizes it. And, my lord, as you read, you can see that Sir Boros has information that you perhaps have a bastard in the Riverlands. Perhaps sired in your last time there at Harrenhal at the tournament. I know nothing of your activities there, my king, but could this be true?
Oh, it's always a possibility. There were some comely young lasses there, and my wives were not present. It was my kingly duty. I do have the right of first night as well. Why not take advantage of something?
Benefir lowers his head. Of course, my lord. If this rumor is true that there is a child of the king, should it not be brought to King's Landing? as a potential heir if your queens fail in their duties?
Very much so. I can grant them my name, and who is anyone to disagree with me? I can keep them as an heir until my wife produces me a legitimate son.
Of course, my king. But as you know, there are problems in the Riverland. Harrenhal is still under siege from the Faith Militant, and our forces have been slow to fight north and deliver them. I believe only the king is strong enough to break the siege, and this message is urgent. We do not have much time for an army to overtake the Faith Militant and break the siege. The details are scarce in the letter, as you can see. Secrecy is important, and a missive can be shot from the sky as a raven falls. Fortunately, this did not happen, but who knows? It could have, and so I believe he must be spoken to directly. I leave it in your hands, my lord.
King Maegor his eyes narrow, and Bennifer always suspicious of those around him, wondering if this is a potential trap, kind of teasing the chance of an heir, even if it is a bastard, and wondering what may happen. But his drive to have a son or an heir kind of overrides his sense of wariness, and he agrees. Yes, Bennifer, I do believe that is the course of action I should take. The decision becomes on how to get there.
Well, my lord, I do not presume to tell you anything, but you could mount Balerion, break the siege single-handedly. What glory that would be.
Indeed. Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I assume I'm the only one that rides him. It's not like we got a passenger seats.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to kind of hand wave that maybe you do, right? Just kind of strap them in. Otherwise, I don't know how the Kingsguard would go anywhere with you, right?
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I'm not going to reference the TV show, but I assumed I could take these two along, and has at least seating for 7.
Yeah, right. I just figured they just get strapped in somehow in the back, and while you actually drive
and experience true terror.
Yeah.
You fly high speed through the air.
Tell me, one last question, Bennifer. Are they encamped around Harrenhal?
Yes, my lord. They have been keeping anything coming and going from the great castle. I do not believe they have the forces to storm it, just due to the size of the walls and towers, although House Towers itself has few men.
Then we shall go and come from the night sky on the Black Dread and burn their camps and relieve House Towers of the siege.
Very good, my king. I will prepare all that you need before you depart.
So be it.
And he slowly rises and gives another bow as he stands and turns and departs immediately.
Maegor turns to Malador and Lander, and I haven't killed anybody worthwhile in some time. It'll be good to go out and go through my paces.
Yes, Your Grace. I look forward to fighting by your side.
Sir Landor simply nods. As you wish, my king. My sword is yours, as always. And Landor is basically a fairly new Kingsguard that Maegor appointed due to Landor's father's influence in the Westerlands. He's a fine knight, but perhaps not perfect for this job and for this king, if you will.
He's barely a man. He's a new human being, not just a new Kingsguard.
Anything else?
No. Maegor has no additional words and just sits there on the Iron Throne and kind of broods as he thinks of what he's going to do once he gets there and the potential of having a son, be it a bastard or daughter. He's not sure which.
Yeah, the note did not say.
Yeah, and after he's done brooding, he'll go to his chambers and have one of his Kingsguards summon his remaining wife.
All right. So the next day you are off, packed upon the Black Dread. The three of you climb on the back of this massive black dragon, big as a small tower. This dragon is truly a sight to behold. And why don't you kind of describe your feelings as you get onto this thing? I don't know that probably Sir Maladin has been on it before, but Sir Brax is just looking at it, or Sir Landor is just looking at it in wonder and terror as he approaches it in the dragon pit.
King Maegor, as he mounts Balerion, thinks to himself how every time he gets on top of the dragon, he feels like his father Aegon, and that no other dragon was worthy of a warrior such as Maegor. He has a pride when he uses the dragon to see entire hamlets fall under the shadow of the Black Dread in flight and the black flames that come forth when he dispenses his version of justice upon those who defy him.
Yeah, and Maladin might have been on this thing, maybe, I don't know, maybe just a few times, not many. It's definitely not an everyday thing, so just remembering that first time he got on and how horrifying it was, and then learning to appreciate it as he went along, and seeing that look on Sir Landor's face. He'll elbow him as they're prepping to get on, and don't worry too much, lad. If you shit yourself when you're on it the first time, I won't blame you. I did myself.
He is literally cringing away from the thing. His knees are almost knocking, and he looks over at Sir Maladin and shakes his head. By the Seven, I have never seen such a thing. Such a beast. I had heard, but... And he just kind of looks at it in wonder.
It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful and terrible. This is just one part of our Grace's power. Just one. It's a wondrous one, to be sure.
And you three climb aboard. With Sir Maladin just shaking his head still all the while and slowly getting on. And after everything is settled, King Maegor lifts off, and within a couple hours you travel very quickly across the countryside north, passing hamlets, towns, even small or large towns or cities, whatever you want to call them. And in the distance, you see the telltale sign of another time that Balerion was here and burnt the towers with his dragon's fire when Harren the Black defied King Maegor's father, King Aegon. And you see at the bottom of the tower a large contingent of Faith Militant. And why don't you make awareness notice tests? So you can use your macro, please. You should, any specialty is what you should use. So click any specialty, and then you should click your, I believe it's your ability score first, and then yes. So that tells you what your awareness is, and what the stats are. If that makes sense, when you do that. So if you click on any specialty, it is I think it starts with a 3. So 3 any specialty, that's actually how you roll it.
Do you know if there's any way to make it to where that token menu comes up at the bottom of the screen? Because it keeps coming to the top, and I keep fucking jerking my
Oh, here you go. I can. I don't think there is.
Okay.
But your guy is out of the way now, correct? Or not?
Yeah, I can do it now.
Okay. Yeah. That's a problem. Because it's such a big one, right? But
yeah, but it's fine.
Okay.
Well, if you zoom out, just move people around. It's not a big deal. Notice.
Okay.
And it's awareness notice.
Yep.
Okay. Kept is awareness.
Okay, so Maegor is busy kind of looking ahead at what his father had done and doesn't really kind of see. But Sir Maladon notices that there are scorpions pointed in your direction, several of them.
Am I sitting in a place where I get his attention? Or?
Yeah, you're behind him somewhere, close enough where you could talk to him.
And I would just sort of yell out, "My king!" And I would start pointing to where the scorpions are. They seek to bring us down!
Maegor looks to Sir Maladin and doesn't verbally acknowledge him, but looks down to look at the scorpions that he's pointing out, and understanding what a potential threat they are kind of brings Balerion higher so he can kind of circle while out of range and kind of assess how he's going to approach this.
Yep. So why don't you route cunning logic for both of you?
This is gonna have to be you.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty good.
That ain't bad.
Let Maegor roll it too, but
for 3 dice.
Yeah, you both. Maladin gets a kind of odd feeling that it's kind of strange that the Faith Militant are pointing their scorpions away from the castle as you kind of approach.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably keep this. Doesn't seem appropriate for a long conversation, so I want to keep that nugget in the back of my mind for whenever we've got a calmer time.
That's completely fine.
Maegor basically is trying to think of the best way to basically do an attack vector on the scorpions.
Why don't you do warfare tactics? Or strategy. We'll do strategy.
What the fuck?
So the way they're all angled, you can't think of a real great way to get past it. You kind of think that maybe that you could just fly down and burn them, kind of getting like just angry that they're there before you define your rule. And let's do yeah, go ahead.
Scorpions are there total?
There looks like there's about 6.
Like 6 units of scorpions. Okay.
But I'll be shooting them 3 because I think there's 3 in each unit technically. Now this isn't exact warfare rules, right? Because we got a dragon here, so I kind of did some things off the cuff to kind of figure out how to make it a little fair. But they'll be able to fire twice, 1 for each unit. So if you want to, we can do warfare tactics for initiative.
Yeah, maybe I won't suck a big fat dick on that roll.
That was rough. Hey.
Okay, so you will go first.
He's going to dive down and command Balerion to just belch forth his black fire upon the closest scorpion unit.
Okay. Why don't you give me a ride test, TN9.
I have these memorized, but I'm going to make sure.
Yeah, if you click the animal handling thing, it'll tell you what but you don't even really.
5 and 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good enough to get in range. So you can just click on Balerion and have him do his worst.
Yep. Maegor kind of, despite the size of Balerion, comes along low on one side of the wall, using it as a shield, and then has him bank sharply and unleash his dragon fire upon the Faith Militant and their scorpions.
Oh shit!
That's 4 degrees of success. So as you come down, it just kind of unleashes this red flame that Sir Maladon has not been a part of. He's never seen that. He's been on top of Balerion for transport before, right? And this fire just this black fire just roasts, you would say, 200 men and turns the scorpions into kindling instantly.
At first, it's horror. Just seeing. I mean, Maladin's a battlefield man, so he's seen his fair share, but never seen that. And it's at first horror, but then just that sort of perverse pleasure of watching the enemies of the crown just burn to fucking cinders before him. And so it's like initially just shock and horror in his face, but then he just got this horrific grin as they're going by.
And what is Maegor's response to that?
As he sees a full unit, 200 some men of the Faith Militant die, he has a slight smile on his face of satisfaction, and he jokes within himself, how many silver stags is that? How many scalps is that for me today?
Yeah. All right. So as you kind of fly by, the other group just unleashes all 3 scorpions at Balerion's belly, trying to get you back. All right, let's check. Let's check about. I forgot to put his thing out there. What is his combat defense?
His combat defense is 17.
Okay.
And his armor is 16, so that's piercing 4.
So it doesn't get through. So basically, each of the scorpion poles hit in parts of the scale and just bounce off. And you see them begin to reload.
King Maegor is quite angry, satisfied that it bounces off Balerion, but takes personal insult that they thought they could damage the king and his dragon.
And you're up again.
He brings Balerion in a wide arc as they reload and smiles this time a little more delightfully as he has Balerion rear his head to breathe fire down upon these misguided fools.
Oh, shit.
The exact same
Oh, shit.
And once again, the black fire just engulfs the entire unit. And within maybe a minute, 400 to 500 men are just incinerated or near it. And other men just flee haphazardly away from the massive castle standing before them as King Maegor breaks the siege in almost no time.
Balerion will do a couple of laps around the curtain walls of Harrenhal before King Maegor gets him to land on top of the king's pyre and kind of do almost the classic roar plus flames to assert his dominance over all.
Yeah. And you do.
And with that, from the king's pyre, I mean, if it's possible to dismount there, he will, and then go down that way and give an order to Balerion to go feed on the ashen corpses that they just dispatched.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you slide off your saddle, and Sir Maladon and Sir Landor can try to get unhooked. And after everybody is dismounted, the dragon goes off and finds the least charred and begins to eat.
As we're off on the ground, I would, of course, near the king's. An excellent display, Your Grace, but I have a concern.
Speak.
Those scorpions, sir, if they brought them for the siege, why were they pointed at us unless they were expecting us?
They probably knew we were coming, and they also knew that scorpion bolts are no match for the curtain walls of Harrenhal. Thus they are protecting themselves, though I do agree with your suspicion that they were aware of our arrival.
Yes, Your Grace.
Let's go find this coward Lord Towers and see why he hadn't broken the siege himself.
Indeed, Your Grace. He must answer for it.
And as you're walking in the direction of the gate, you hear the ratchets of the gate whining as it opens before you to allow you inside. And kind of hastily moving in your direction, you see a man approaching. And King Maegor, you may or may not remember him as Lord Walton's son. Lord Walton only lived a few days after you granted him Harrenhal, but you might have actually left by the time that even happened. Lord Boris falls to a knee before you. My king!
Quit groveling and stand up.
Of course. And he does so and says, I have never seen such a display.
Yes, but you've seen the consequences of it as he points to the burnt towers within Harrenhal.
Of course.
Says, now, and he kind of pulls the note that Maester Bennifer had, and Bennifer says, now tell me, do you know why I'm here?
Of course, I wrote this letter, my lord. My king. There have been rumors in the Riverlands about the scion of your seed in the Riverlands, and I wish to protect your line as you have given me mine.
Yes, your father fought for this place and won it. I was informed of his death shortly thereafter. Now you have inherited it, and you do me a great honor by informing me of my potential child here in the Riverlands. I wish you to take me to him immediately.
My lord, I do not know where this child is exactly, but there are rumors. The rumor is that this child is in Fairmarket, north of here, and that they're waiting for you to come and deliver it back to King's Landing.
You summoned our king for rumors?
It is not rumors. There are rumors of many things. I misspoke. I apologize, my king.
Yes. Now tell me, this rabble outside your walls, why were they here?
The Faith Militant? And he looks up and... Because I am a leal servant of the king. Of course. But... Also, I believe they know of these rumors as well, and they seek the child. They do not want your line to continue, your grace. That is why I have been so secretive with my missive.
Very well. Well thought of you, Lord Boris. What time of day is it?
Midday, we'll say.
And our forces to the south, how far away are they?
Several days. There's other fighting going on that's slowing them down.
I didn't know if this was their destination or if they were just working.
Yeah, this was their destination. Their destination was to break the siege.
Good. Very well, Lord Boris. Let us sit, and you can tell me of the Riverlands and who, besides the Faith Militant, may know of this bastard, and who I may encounter, both friend and foe, in Fairmarket.
Yes, my lord. Give me a moment to inform the Castilian of your arrival and have a feast prepared in your honor. This way, my lord. And he begins to lead you towards one of the towers of Harrenhal. And he offers you bread and salt when you get inside.
King Maegor's lip kind of curls at the thought of a feast when a potential heir lies so close, but He makes no verbal note of it, as he would have not known of this person if it wasn't for Boris. So he comes in, accepts the bread and salt, ensures his Kingsguard has it as well, and accepts whatever feast or entertainment Lord Boris has in store for him. While you're at it, Lord Boris, if there are any survivors of the Faith Militant, round a few of them up and bring them inside.
Of course, my lord, I will send out soldiers at once. And he seats you at a place of honor, his own seat, and says, "Excuse me, my lord, I must go speak to my commanders to do so. I will return shortly." And he bows deeply and steps back.
Maegor kind of waves him off, dismisses him, and kind of looks about the room, looking for any hot bitches.
Yeah, there's women and people starting to file in the room, all showing you great deference. You don't know any of these people. They're minor nobles of house towers, or people who live in house towers for whatever, or live in Harrenhal for whatever reason. One man does, and these people are just lining up to like bow before you and give you like honor and that kind of thing, right? Just very tedious. And one man approaches, and he looks somewhat out of place. And he comes before you. You're sitting on Lord Boris' dais, and he kneels and he says, "My king, I have come to give you great honor and kneel before you, but also to speak to you and give you advice, give you truth." And he produces a note out of the... Yeah, you can roll.
Yeah, I don't trust that fucking dude
empathy.
at all.
And pulls a small, simply folded note from his sleeve and hands it up to Sir Landor, who takes it.
That's awareness, right?
Awareness, empathy, yeah.
Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, you don't notice anything obvious. He's definitely
Still
not.
not.
He's definitely not trying to like murder him or anything like that.
Still hand on weapon, ready to go, because I don't like the way he looks.
Maegor takes the note from Sir Lander, opens it, and reads it.
Yeah. As a summary, it essentially says that there is an heir in the Riverlands, but that heir is not to be found in Fair Market, but instead at High Heart, and that Lord Boris is sending you to an ambush, and that to be wary.
He reads it, kind of nods, looks at this man. And your name is?
They call me Minio, my lord.
I will speak with you later. And he kind of... I'm very interested in what you have to say. But for now, I will enjoy this farce of a feast. But stay, drink, be merry. But stay close.
He nods.
Maegor leans over to Maladin and goes, "One of these, either him or Lord Boris, is lying to us about my child.
Always, Your Grace.
And not long after, Lord Boris returns, and trailing him are probably a half dozen men in different states of pain. Some of them have bad burns that are almost being dragged in. Others are fairly uninjured, besides getting knocked around a bit, and they're in chains. And he leads them into the center of the room, and he bows. Your Grace, as you requested.
Does Boris look like a warrior? Is he more of a kind of a Castellan type?
He looks like he probably is more of the Castellan type.
It's like a pussy.
King Maegor, before the feast, I have decreed several years ago a silver stag per scalp of a poor fellow, and a gold dragon per scalp of a warrior's son. Who here wishes to earn some coin?
Lord Boris looks over the room, and there's a few young hot men that nod and, "Aye, my lord, aye!"
King Maegor selects 5 of them, and then for the 6th prisoner, he goes to Sir Landon. He says, "Throw the sword down to Lord Boris. He can get the 6th."
Lord Boris. You said told Landor to do that?
Yeah.
Landor walks over and draws his sword and hands it over to Lord Boris, who takes it and nods. "Of course, Your Grace. To dispense the king's justice, nothing is finer."
Says, "Now unchain them one at a time. Earn your money. And give them a sword. No armor or shield, of course."
Yeah. And they begin to unchain them, and one by one, the Faith Militant are killed. Most of them are in very bad shape. Lord Boris kind of points over at one of the ones that are weakened clearly and says, "I'll take this one. I believe he is a warrior's son. It would be only fitting for a noble to kill a noble."
King Maegor kind of rolls his eyes. Yes, get on with it.
And
Bored of his petulant act of brutality.
yeah, and so even Lord Boris, who you can tell is not particularly skilled with a blade, is able to dispatch the man quite easily due to his wounds. And the 6 warrior sons die without much fight in a bloody scene in the middle of the hall, where women look on aghast and others look on in fear of the king. You notice Minios sitting there looking unlike most of the others, and just watches kind of impassively as he drinks from a cup and eats the bread.
King Maegor kind of slow claps and orders Lord Boris to have them impaled upon pikes outside as a warning to all those who defy the crown before demanding the blood blade cleaned up and the food served.
And they do, taking the men, dragging them out, and going about fixing their heads on pikes as they do their best to scrub the floors quickly as the rest of the feast is brought before the king. and Lord Boris approaches you, sitting next to you, essentially, at the table of honor. And, my lord, this was a fine display of justice. I appreciate and am honored that you allowed me to participate in the execution of these traitors.
Yes. Tell me about Fair Market. Cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Then King Maegor laughs at his heart joke.
He doesn't really quite understand it, obviously, and he just kind of...
I might chuckle a bit for that one.
Yeah. Ah, yes, Fair Market. I do believe the Harways once ruled there, but in your wisdom, ushered them out. But the new inhabitants are the Strongs, Sir Reginald Strong. I believe he leads those that secure your lineage. The babe should be there in their tower, hidden away. But it is poorly guarded, as the Strongs have few men, and so secrecy is of the utmost importance.
Yes, and besides the Faith Militant, be true, who else in the Riverlands in that area have a questionable loyalty to the crown?
Yes, I have heard, and these are only rumors, my lord, for none speak out against you so boldly. Not here, so close to King's Landing. But House Weathers, House Mallister, I do not trust either.
Very well. Thank you for your counsel.
Of course. But there's something else you should know. I believe the Faith Militant have spies throughout the Riverlands.
I'm sure they do. It's not easy to hide a dragon.
Yes, and that is why if you go to Fair Market, my advice would be to leave your mount behind and travel in disguise. For the Faith Militant, they will see you coming, and perhaps it will tip them off. It is only advice, my lord. And he kind of looks away, not wanting to overstep himself.
King Maegor kind of nods and thinks, and he wants to wait for a later time to speak with Menio and see what he has to say. If it was a hard ride, taking extra horses, how long would it take to get to High Heart before going north to Fair Market?
High Heart is a lot closer. So High Heart, it would probably take a day on a hard ride. Fair Market from there, 3-4 days.
Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, thinking of it map-wise, won't we have to go through High Heart to Riverrun to get to Fair Market, or is there somewhere to ferry along?
Well, you could take the one of the forks north, right? Blue Fork, I think. You could go over river if you wanted.
Okay.
The gist is it'll take let's see. Let me just to give it a peek here. Harrenhal to High Heart. High Heart is due west. That's going to take, we'll say, a day and a half. From High Heart, you don't have to go to Riverrun, but you could. You could also come up to Derry, go north on the King's Road. Probably the Riverrun up the Red Fork back to Derry is probably longer than just going as this crow's flies from High Heart straight to like the Crossroad Inn area and then up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you're kind of doubling back, I think, a little bit.
I think I'll wait for the feast to kind of progress before everybody kind of scatters and goes about their business, and then I will look for an appropriate time to speak with Menio out of the earshot of Lord Boris.
Yeah, Lord Boris kind of gets in his cups a little bit, and he kind of actually ends up walking off with some woman. And Menio is kind of just still sitting where he has been all night. He's not left the room to go piss. He's not done anything. He's just sitting there, not doing anything, just doing as you commanded.
At an appropriate time, King Maegor will tell Sir Landor, to fetch Menio.
Sir Landor walks directly over to Menio without any tact whatsoever, and you see him say something to the man, and he kind of slides out of his chair and walks back up towards you with his head bowed and says, "My king, you have summoned me."
And he kind of stands up from his place upon the chair of import or whatever, kind of walks towards one of the earths by the fire and motions for Menio to follow him, and kind of stares into the flames and says, "Speak of High Heart and speak of Lord Boris's supposed betrayal, and make it quick."
"Of course, my lord. High Heart, they're simple men, but these men, they are wary of the faith. Men that perhaps have other faith. And they do not wish to see the Faith Militant rise and stomp out your progeny. That is why they have sided with you, not for some respect of their king, but instead because they wish you to stamp out what they cannot." And he somewhat shrugs. "They have your child."
And why does Lord Boris lie to me?
Why do any? You have many enemies, and few friends, I think. A traitor wishing to raise himself above others, wishing that it's his brother or his nephew, Jaharis? I can't remember. Nephew, that's what I thought, right? Yeah. Wishing that your nephew might see the Iron Throne instead of you.
Very well. How long will these people be at High Heart?
A few days.
And what reward do you seek providing this information, if it is to be true?
Well, my lord, rumors spread quickly. Is it true that your former master of whispers is no more?
It is.
Well then, perhaps you could use another.
Perhaps we will see how valuable this information is that you have provided.
Of course.
Where can I find one such as you?
My lord, if I wish to not be found, I will not. I will find you.
Yes, I'm sure. Very well. Be gone while I consider this.
Of course. And he gives a curt bow and turns, and this time kind of just immediately leaves the room. So basically, both these guys are gone now.
Yeah. Maegor summons Lander and Maladin to stand by the fire with him. Kind of crosses his arms, rubs his hand through his beard as he thinks, kind of turns to the two. One says my son is in fair market, the other says my son is in high heart. I have no particular reason to trust either, but I feel that one of them is obviously a trap. I know I have few friends among the lords of the Riverlands. I will not pretend otherwise, but I seek both of your opinions on this matter.
Sir Lander looks to Sir Maladin to speak first.
Your Grace, I have a poor opinion of our host. I think that Lord Towers, between you and me, Your Grace, is a fop. And he would no doubt consider betraying the crown for his own means, despite all that has been given to him and his family. I think that he, given what happened earlier with the Scorpions, would be who I expect is in league with our enemies. My opinion, Your Grace.
Noted. King Maegor kind of thinks about it and says, we will leave before first light. We will ride hard to High Heart. I will send Balerion to range freely amongst the Riverlands. If there are spies and lookouts about, my hope is Balerion will keep them off our true destination. And that's something like, I know they send a lot of these to free range. I'm not quite sure how they find
That's
back,
fine.
or if
Yeah.
they just go back to King's Landing eventually, or if they're like a dog with super smell and can find their owner. But either way, I'm just going to send Balerion. I don't trust him to keep him around here, obviously. So I'm going to let
That's
him go
fine.
do his thing.
Yeah, Sir Lander speaks out and he's like, my king, I must say that... Who is this Minio? You trust this man? Lord Boris is at least a lord, a nobleman. This other man, who knows who he could be? It seems strange, does it not? Some random man, looking the part of a spy, comes and tells you that the lord is lying? He looks more like a poor fellow.
No more strange than a castle being sieged and all the siege weapons pointing away from the castle, don't you think?
My lord, could it not be that they were told of your coming? It is not as if your dragon is stealthy.
We left within a day of receiving the message. No messenger can travel that fast.
A raven, then, perhaps.
Now you're suggesting Benifer is in league against me?
Perhaps, or someone else that has access to ravens in King's Landing? There are more maesters than simply the Grand Maester, are there not?
Speculation, boy. No. We have to look at what information we have, Your Grace. Sir Landor is right to be paranoid, I think, about some company, but it was strange to me that those siege weapons were not being used on the siege, but on us, and they were ready for us. It wasn't as though they were rapid to turn around. They were prepared for our coming.
Well, as the king said, if the Scorpions can do nothing against the towers, the curtain wall, then perhaps they turn them towards an incoming army. Certainly they know about our forces heading north. That is no secret.
While true, why would you even bring Scorpions to a siege. They are better suited for open warfare, not to hurl projectiles against a wall. Either way, our allies are few and far between, and I would trust a grasping a man for power more than a dandy fop who inherited a great castle from his father's triumphs. Either way, we will investigate both. We'll use secrecy as our ally. One of these is a trap. We go in knowing that, giving us the advantage.
Indeed, Your Grace.
Sir Landor nods. Of course, my king will protect your person regardless of what you decide.
Very well. Now, go find me a young, buxom woman. I need to sheathe my sword for the night before we ride out in the morning.
Understood, Your Grace. And then go look for a young, buxom woman that I know that my king will enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Sir Landor.
Or two.
Yes, Sir Landor stays with the king as you go and find two well-endowed ladies and bring them back to the king. And the night passes without much fanfare otherwise. In the morning, as you arrive back in the main hall, Lord Boris is there to greet you. My king, I hope your night was spent as well as mine was. And he kind of smiles. I assume you'll be off then.
Yes, we will be riding for fair markets. We require horses and extra steeds, as we will be going there as quick as possible.
Of course, my lord, anything I may give you is yours to take, as is your right. I suggest going in disguise, it has said, so perhaps coursers? He kind of shrugs.
Yes, that will do.
I will have the stable ready. Your horses immediately, my king. And he bows. And they do. Is there anything else you wish to do before you depart Harrenhal?
No.
Alright. Where are you going to go?
I'm gonna do High Heart.
Okay. So you make due west to High Heart. On the road, there's a road closer to Harrenhal going in that direction that thins out a ways as it goes that way, but it generally goes in that direction. Oops.
There's a huge fight.
The fight is back on.
A couple guys are fighting over beer.
All right, so you head west, and this road generally goes towards Acorn Hall, but splits off to High Heart. There's a trail that goes that way eventually. On the road closer to Harrenhal, however, you come across two travelers heading in the opposite direction. They are on flea-bitten palfreys, making their way in your direction. And they kind of like move over to kind of go single file as they pass. One of them calls out, "Aye!" Good meet. Huh?
Go.
Yeah. Well, Matt, on the road. And they kind of look at you, and you're each having like 2 or 3 horses. Is there a tournament we don't know about? The spoils of a tourney?
Mind your business.
So are you disguised or just traveling in the open?
I was going to do the cliche hooded cloak
Yep.
over his brigandine armor.
Yep, that's all good.
He's not going to be obviously wearing his crown or
Yeah.
one of his Kingsguard.
So no white cloaks, none of that jazz going on.
No, we're all looking dirty and gross.
Well, that's not quite cordial, is it? And they kind of like gallop and. Oh, must question where you got those horses. There's quite a few for just. Well, there's 9 horses and 3 of you. And the man in the front is counting on his fingers, and the guy kind of rides up beside him. Ah, Sir Adam, leave them alone if they wish to go. It's not our business where their horses are from.
If you must know, we killed 6 men for their horses, for crossing us on the path. I'm just gonna look at him steely-eyed.
They kind of look at each other and they're like, well then, I hope they did something to deserve it, not just talk like my friend here, this oaf. And he kind of he's on his saddle, but kind of like puts his hand on Sir Adam, who's looking at you kind of cross. And he kind of like gallops in front and says, of course, sirs. Feel free to pass. We mean you no harm. Simply friendly banter on the road.
Maegor keeping his kind of hood pulled and asks, where are you heading and where do you hail from?
Oh, well, we're heading to Harrenhal. Heard that there was the king there, a dragon. Wanted to see it for myself. As for where we hail from, well, we are Knights of the Hedge. Looking for any lord that'd employ us in our swords. He kind of shrugs.
I'm sure the Lord of Harrenhal will be more than happy to employ hedge knights. No one can be too careful these days with the Faith Militant and their war against the crown.
Yes, coin to be made in war, my lord. Coin to be made in lord. He doesn't call you my lord. Coin to be made in war. Yep. So King Maegor, please roll Deception Disguise. And go ahead. Go ahead and roll awareness.
Oh no, this is all fishy. Leave us the fuck alone. I just threatened your life. Mind yourself.
What was I doing? Just deception?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking around and shit too, because this is... I don't like these guys.
Yeah, you don't get the sense that they're actually lying, honestly. You get more of a sense that they're just kind of just happen to be here. So I'm gonna do something for them. 1 second.
My king.
Yeah, trust me, part of me is like, can always use a few extra blades. And part of me is like, no one can know where we're going.
Yeah.
So basically, they don't seem to catch on anything's amiss. They just kind of pull their horses to the side and, well, be wary. There's always fighting going on. There's coin to be had in war. Haven't seen any fighting this way, though. Think the fighting is where we're going. At least that's what we've heard.
And you fight for whoever pays most, is that correct? Or are you fighting for a cause?
I never knew a hedge knight that could fight for a cause that didn't starve. Coin, of course.
King Maegor kind of thinks for a minute. He's got 2 Kingsguard, but sometimes fodder is needed. Thinks a bit more and says, so tell me, Hedge Knights, what would you do if the crown required your services?
Well, if the crown was paying crowns, then suppose I'd be interested. How about you, Adam? He nods. Got to eat, don't I?
What would be a surprisingly large amount for a couple of Hedge Knights, like a gold dragon each?
Yeah, that would be very sufficient.
King Maegor kind of moves his horse and trail horses kind of slowly up to him and
Yeah, Landor makes sure he's...
pulls his hood back and doesn't announce who he is, but pulls out 2 gold dragons and flips one to each of them. And
Yeah, the first coin hits Kyburn and kind of falls to the ground, and he looks very confused. He looks at you, looks down, looks at you, looks down. Adam catches his, looks at you, looks at Kyburn, looks at Maladon, and they kind of look at each other finally, and Kyburn's like, my king?
King Maegor looks at Sir Adam and goes, if you bite that dragon to see if it's real, I will kill you where you stand.
And he just keeps staring. Now he kind of looks at Maladon and frowns, and then looks back at Maegor and doesn't say anything.
Your Hedge Knights, I believe that is a fair amount of money to join me on a brief journey through the Riverlands.
Well, of course. And he's just, me lord. He kind of speaks out of turn, but he probably doesn't know any better. And he kind of...
The proper term is your grace.
Your grace, excuse me. And he bows as he gets to the ground, and Adam slowly slides off of his saddle and also bows. As I said, a crown for our swords. And he scoops up the gold piece and tucks it away pretty quickly.
There's more where that came from. The better your service in these next few days, the more your reward shall be.
Of course. And they nod and kind of look up, trying to get permission to kind of get up and get back on their horses. And
I would look at Sir Lander while the king is talking to them and just sort of shoot him that glare like these fucking guys.
And Sir Lander is looking quite nervous. And Kyburn finally gets up and mounts his horse, and then so does Sir Adam. And Adam has a long axe on his back, and Kyburn has a sword, just a normal sword. And we follow you, your grace. And he kind of gallops his horse around Sir Maladon to the rear. And Adam just kind of moves off to the side and prepares to follow as you gallop by.
Maegor isn't particularly happy about taking 2 Hedge Knights with him, but he can't be noticed on the road at this point of the journey with just 2 Kingsguard with him and no dragon and no army.
And you ride on to Highheart. Alright. 2 Hedge Knights in tow. So, and these guys.
What the fuck is this?
So you head up into High Heart, which is a hill. You pass dozens of stumps on your way of weirwoods that were cut down hundreds upon hundreds of years ago. And this place has a very eerie kind of feeling as you make your way up this hill. You see figures standing on top of the hill as if they're waiting. There's a small camp here, a small fire, a couple tents, and men pacing around at the top. As you approach, they kind of stand at attention and look down as you make a long climb up the hill.
We're on foot then.
I mean, you could definitely ride up, but it would be difficult to get to the top. So you probably would have to dismount, yes.
Maegor will do so.
As you ascend the hill, one man walks forward and, you've come! What great luck! And he's, you see next to him is kind of like a shield sitting on the ground, and he kind of walks forward, and he's like, I can't even believe it. And he like drops to a knee and bows, and everybody does behind him as well.
Maegor kind of approaches and approves of the show of submission to their king. Menio sent me. You know why I'm here. I don't.
Of course.
Platitudes and fake courtesies. Let's get right to it.
Of course. And he nods to the man behind him, and he's like, he is close. I will send one of my men to go fetch them. Then we will escort you back. To provide safety, of course. And this guy kind of like walks off and goes back towards this way. And then he kind of like, he stands up and kind of like paces back, and this guy kind of steps forward and don't really say anything. They get kind of nervous.
King Maegor kind of looks to the two, and while he waits, he goes, both of you identify yourself to me.
The man in front like turns. He's like, of course, I'm a man named Martin Rivers. No one of import. Bastard of Lord Dari. And this guy steps forward, and he's got kind of a smile on his face. He's like, I have always wanted to meet you, your grace. I am humbled. Humbled by your presence here in this holy place.
And your name?
Yes. I believe they call me Moon. Septon Moon.
Oh.
And he leans on his long axe, kind of very where the guy in front of you, Martin Rivers, is extremely tense. This guy is completely relaxed.
Moon.
Go ahead and roll a knowledge streetwise, maybe.
Yeah, upon hearing that, I'm definitely ready to go now. Because, Septon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of who he is. Not, out of character.
Yeah, he's too beneath you, right? Now, Maladon can roll as well, though.
No, it's streetwise, eh?
I don't know if you guys have any destiny points to spend, but...
I've got one. It's not going to be spent on this.
Okay.
So...
Nah, you guys don't.
Well, my king, I certainly fucking tried.
Yeah, but the Septon thing, I mean, he had to call himself Septon.
That's a fucking dead giveaway. I'm sorry.
Roll. Does Lander get to roll?
Sure.
He might actually have some.
Probably not.
He's a shit cunt, so probably not. He's a dandy.
So he'll slightly know more. Oh,
Yeah.
King Maegor wants those two dipshits kind of form a loose line. You don't want them to...
Wow, look at this guy. Ain't bad. Huh?
So basically, Landor is like, my king, and he's like stammering now.
And Maegor turns to him and walks up to him. Says, "Calm yourself and spit it out."
Septon Moon, is that not? Isn't he a leader of the Faith Militant?
Maegor tries finishing some sentence as he realizes that the first place they went to was the trap. If not both, he kind of cynically says to himself, "Yes, I believe you're right." Not that he actually thinks that, he just says it because the king should know. And he looks to Qyburn and Adam and Maladon and says very calmly, "Kill them."
With pleasure, your grace.
And Septon Moon kind of chuckles and he's like, "Kill us? Ah, you have it all wrong. All wrong. The gods have proclaimed your death here today. You should have stayed in Valyria, you and your kind. Your perversions."
That's enough out of you, you mouthy cunt. I'm just gonna get my flail out.
King Maegor draws his sword. "Leave the Septon alive for questioning at the end."
And you kind of notice like people peeking out of like the shadows in various places around you.
And it says, "A gold dragon per dead poor fellow. Per man." To Qyburn and Adam.
And they kind of look between each other and they kind of look around and see all these dudes just popping up everywhere.
All these gold crowns.
Yeah, so they're gonna roll will courage.
Oh, great.
With
oh shit.
They're gonna get two bonus dice though because of the money, right? Alright.
Because I'll fucking kill them if they run.
Not if you're dead first.
No, I'm about to fucking go nuts. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's about what I expected.
So Sir Qyburn like steps forth and he says, "Protect the king," and Sir Adam kind of like backpedals away. All right, so I'll set you guys in the closest square. All right, and then I'll do the same for them. All right, so initiative time. So go ahead and click on your token and click the initiative button. That's all you should need.
Oh, baby!
Nice.
Ho-ho!
Alright.
I'm about to fuck ass.
Primary dudes going here.
Oh, yeah. Sir Reginald Strong, you say? These motherfuckers.
I don't know why it would say that.
Yeah, wonder why.
Guess I used the same character for both, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. Raises questions. All things are answered with a flail to the face, so...
That's true. That's true.
Time for Paladin and Maegor to shine.
Did Land? Who wants? Somebody can roll for Landor.
Oh, I guess.
I'll do it. No, I'm not gonna do it because my rolls have been dog shit.
Alright, well... By your leave, my grace. There you go. Really happy
Alright.
Sir Adam rolled high and fucking backed away. Stoked.
Okay, so make sure what your move is, because I have bulk all actually.
Oh, shit.
I believe your movement's 3.
I mean, I can be able to get in range with this guy, or can I?
You could charge. I mean,
Is that minus 1d?
Mm-hmm.
But I do get to fuck him if I get in there. How much is a charge?
charge is a greater action.
Okay. And then,
Charges your move times 2, I believe, is what it is.
So it would be 6. So that I mean, would
Yeah,
that
you
even
get
be
to
enough
him.
to...
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I get
Oh, each square is just a yard. I should probably have said that, but that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I could technically, if I can move 2, I could technically just walk up and fucking hit him, couldn't I?
You could.
If
Yes.
that's the
You could just move and attack. Yes, you could.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna walk up to Septon Moon and try to give him the business.
Alrighty.
And then I just hit the Castle Forge Steel Flail for this
Yep.
one, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
$22 versus his combat defense of 7.
That's 3 degrees.
That
15.
is 4 degrees. 15 is 4 degrees. I believe. All right.
I just had the page. Hold on. Yeah, 15 plus is 4. Yeah, it's 10.
So he will take a wound. 1 second, I gotta. Forgot to do that. Mr. Maegor. Bear with me 1 second.
Is that right? 96 keeps 6? Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
96 and then roll 9 keeps...
Because you have -2
I have 5
on the...
fighting minus... Yeah, you're right. I want to make sure. Yeah, that's right.
So he takes a wound. I'll give it to him.
Just walk up and batter the fuck out of him. Say, are you still smiling now, Septon? I'm going to bloody your fucking face.
Yeah, you just smash him across the shoulder and he like reels to the side, surprised. Alright. Sir Kyburn, would one of you like to control him?
I'll control him if you want to do Lander.
Sure.
Let me get
What's
Kyburn.
his move?
I'm gonna hook you all up with it real quick. I believe his move is 3. There you go, you got him. If you click on somebody and click on the combat stats, it should give all that stuff.
How many of these guys have bows, by the way? Since I know you can't have a good ambush without bows.
Oh yeah. You see these guys like here.
Yeah,
Here. They have heavy crossbows.
Oh, shit.
Looks like.
Oh, fuck. We're gonna get dominated.
All right, so Qyburn has a move that can make it. Give me 1 second here to decide. He can move 4, so he's just gonna go and then attack. Standard attack.
Okay. Give it to me. That is 3 degrees. 5 damage, 15. That kills that guy.
Wow. That's a good investment.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is like, do you actually try to just go around them, or do you actually hire them?
I was gonna kill them, but that's a good idea to hire them.
Honestly, if they didn't agree to come, they probably were gonna die, because it's like, no one can know where I am.
Yeah.
So he just runs. This guy's got a medium crossbow, and a heavy crossbow, and he goes to point it, but as he does, Qyburn just runs him down.
He's a badass.
And then speaking of guys with crossbows, so this one on the far left shoots at Sir Landor with an aim. Sir Landor's combat defense is 11. That is 3 degrees of success. That is 18 with piercing
he needs to take
2.
a wound. I'm pretty sure.
Depends on what armor he has.
He has Brig with armor mastery, so 9. So it would be 7 off that. So he takes 15 damage.
Oh yeah.
15, I think, right? So 18, it would technically 20 minus 9, 11. You're 11, yep. So he would not go down. That would put him at 1.
Yeah, no wounds or injuries to start.
You don't want to take in the wound or injury?
Start at 1 of 12 health. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just puts a hole and it just like punctures through his plate or his brig. Alright, so this poor fellow up here is going to take a shot at Maegor.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
14, 2 degrees of success, 12 with piercing 2.
Okay, let's see here. So 12 damage, and my armor is 6 when you include the piercing, so 6 hit points. Gone.
Okay. So this guy up here can't really get a good shot at anybody, so he's going to run down here. Actually, I need to do one thing here. I need to put that on them. No, they shot, and I gotta reload. He moved. This guy's gonna run over this way. This guy's gonna run here. And that's all my poor fellows. Sir Adam is still contemplating what he's going to do, so he's going to roll this. Courage. Will.
He's gonna leave his boy. Nope. Balls.
Yeah, now he starts thinking better of it, and he's going to run over to Qyburn's side. What is this? This is madness. Just fight for the king and survive. Alright. Soldiers. This soldier is going to seize this big fucking guy, but he wants the glory, so he goes after Maegor.
Oh man, that's balls.
And he swings his sword. 1 degree of success. That's not going to get through.
No damage.
Bounces off his shield. This guy that was supposed to go get the kid basically runs back to about there. They can't do anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Sir Landor.
Maegor barks, kill the bowman, I'll deal with this fucking whelp.
Alright. So Sir Landor, is there an attack of opportunity if he dips out from there?
Nah, there is an advanced reach rules, but we're not using them.
Okay. Well, Landor's gonna follow the words of his king, and there are, I think, two crossbowmen over here that look like they need to get fucked.
Yep, there are.
What is Landor's combat stats?
I don't think he can make it.
Move 3, no, he can't. He can still start going that way, though.
You could run and get there, but you couldn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Now, just one thing you know, the guy with the red has already shot, and heavy crossbows is a full round reload, just to let you know.
So this guy, then, is who he needs to run to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's where he's going. If he can make it, so 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you do your run, you do your movement times 4 minus bulk. That's your sprint speed.
So he should be able to make it then. Because that would be what? Movement times 4 is 12. Wait, yeah, minus.
So 9.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, no, it'd be 8. 1, 4, 5, 6. It's just enough. It's just enough to get there. Yeah. I map it out, so 1. Here, I would map it out if the fucking huge thing wasn't in. No, he can make it. It's 8. You can count it from where he's at. We need to not get shot, because that's bad.
Okay. The king.
So Maegor's pretty fucking salty that this guy swung at him. He deflected it with his shield, but his anger boils up deep inside him at the thought of being betrayed and being attacked by the Faith Militant, who he has fought for the majority of his reign. So he is going to use a greater action and take Blackfire and use Fury against the soldier.
Bye-bye. That's what I would assume.
Do I get the +1?
Yep,
bonus.
Yep, it should be all in there.
Okay.
Now did you do an aim to? Oh, or is that a greater action? It is a greater action.
It's a greater action.
Yeah. So 22 versus 9. That's at least 2 degrees of success. 24 might that kills him.
+4. Yeah. For the Fury. Oh my god.
Well, the +4 is added in, but yeah.
Oh shit.
It's calculated.
Okay.
So it's 12. Yeah, so the Balerion steel blade just cuts right through this guy's helmet and just cleaves his skull. Should I just delete it? That's used. So as you do that, the dude in front of you, his shield is on his left arm. He's got a ball and chain hanging down by his side, and he looks at the king and he's like, "Regicide." Has a nice name to it. And he walks down here and swings at Maegor.
Balls confirmed. Oh, man.
So that's 2 degrees of success. 16 damage. Shattering 3.
Just out of curiosity, how does it get to shattering 3?
Because he has bludgeon fighter 1 and 2, and ball and chain is 2.
Ball and chain is it 2 or 1?
Pretty sure it's 2. Let me look, but unless I messed up originally when I put it in, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Ball and chain is shattering 1.
It is, so it's shattering 2.
Okay, so let's see here. I took how much damage he did? 3 degrees?
2.
2, he did 2.
So
He did 2.
16 minus 8 is 8. So I have to take 2 injuries.
And then I lowered your armor by 2.
My combat defense is down by 2.
It's not your combat defense, it's your armor rating, right?
I think it's combat defense first.
Oh, because your
Yeah,
shield.
it's defensive weapons first, yeah.
That's right,
Might
shield.
go the combat
So you can go down to
defense.
10, and then... That's right. Okay, I altered all that stuff. And you take 2 injuries, you said?
Yes.
I added those. So all your injuries and wounds are all added in. You don't need to...
You'll add it. Okay.
I added them in. I have a script that adds them to you. Okay, so he just blasts through your shield and smashes your arm. Septon Moon kind of like staggers under the flail and just aims and swings back.
Let's do it, con.
Actually, I'm gonna sacrifice all my bonus die.
Balls. Balls.
Here we go.
Balls
So
confirmed.
I didn't actually make this macro. I probably should have, but let's see. How do I do this? Where's that? Axes. Actually, I don't want that. I just want... Okay, yeah, so... Sacrificing all my bonus die. So... Let me
2
make sure.
degrees of success plus damage if you're
Mm-hmm.
what I believe you're referring to.
I am. With an aim. But he can't aim, can he?
It doesn't specify that you can't, but I mean that's a bonus dice.
Right, that's why I'm... No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd be sacrificing?
Yep, so 21. Does that hit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
That's
how...
quite a few degrees of success, probably.
That's 6, that's 3 degrees of
Mine's
success.
7. My combat defense is 7, so...
Yeah, so that's 3 degrees of success.
What's the damage?
The damn. I'm just gonna roll this. Ignore, just to see what the damage is. So 13. So that would be 36 damage, or no, I'm sorry, 39 damage.
Oh, man. I guess it's probably going to be a wound, then.
So basically, you take 2 wounds because he has.
Did a wound get factored into Moon's roll?
It should have. Oh, it didn't because I didn't do it that way. Crap. Well, did it? Let me look at his roll. Yes, it did. No, it didn't.
It said keep 5.
No, it shouldn't have. Hold on, let me do that again. I don't know why that didn't work. The specialty must... Yeah, bear with me on that, because...
Work in progress.
Yeah, these macros are... so I'll just roll it manually, this one. 5d6, keep 4. 17.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still 3 degrees of success. So you're gonna take 2 wounds,
I thought
right?
wound is for all damage.
But you take a normal damage as normal. You take damage as normal
That's
plus you
right.
get a wound.
Yeah, you're doing Axe Fighter. Yep.
He has Axe Fighter too.
So I take a wound regardless. I might actually take injuries for this.
Yeah,
'cause
you
I
could- you
probably
could do
negate
that.
14 points of damage or so. I don't remember how much
Yep.
damage he did. He did how much?
If it's 3 degrees of success, he did.
39.
Yeah,
No, let's
39.
take the fucking wound to make it easy, because otherwise,
Yeah.
since we're gonna be here all
I-
day trying to
I
find
don't-
any injuries to take.
Well, I mean, what's your endurance?
7 or no, wait, endurance. That's your health, right? Or is that your?
Mhm. Yeah, and no, endurance is what's your endurance rank? What's
Oh,
your...
it's 6. I mean, I could
So
take
6.
a fuckload of injuries, but I mean,
If you took 4 injuries,
6? Holy cow! Actually, yeah. If you have 6, you have 18 health, and then every time you
Take
an
4 injuries.
injury,
you could take
every
4
time-
injuries. That's 24 of the 39.
Every time you take an injury, it's whatever your endurance rank is. So you'd actually get rid of 6 points of damage per injury.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's do that.
So,
And don't forget you have Berserker too.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give him the fucking business back, obviously.
So let's figure out your injuries. So so if you took 4 injuries, that's 24 out of
Yeah, I have
39.
3 health left.
So that's what you want to do?
Yeah, because it negates my armor, right? It doesn't matter.
Oh no, your armor is in there too. I'm sorry. So 39 minus 10.
29.
That's 29. and then if you take 4, that's you take 5 damage.
I might take. Should I just take the 4 and then, or should I just take 1 less?
Take 2 injuries, because if you subtract 10 from 39, so that's your armor rating, so it's down to 29. If you take 17 health, that takes you down to 1 out of 18 hit points, leaving 12 damage to soak. Since your endurance is 6, you can take 2 injuries. So you take 2 injuries and 1 wound. And then you get to swing back at him because you're a berserker.
Yeah. What's his total damage now?
He has 1 hit point left.
Left?
He has taken left. Yep, and he has taken 1 wound and 2 injuries.
So an additional wound than the X Fighter wound as well?
It's 2 injuries and 1 wound total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because 10 armor soak.
Oh, I see. Yep.
12 damage soak from taking injuries, so that'd be down to 1 hit point. Yeah.
All right. Before you swing, let me fix one thing.
Sure. And this has no bonus dice to it. So this is 5d5, 5d6. Keep 5, I think.
Well,
keep 4 now that you've taken a wound.
No, wouldn't my expertise with bludgeons count? Technically, I'm using the flail.
Yeah, that's all. That should all be calculated in. Just give me 1 second, because I got to do.
I'd be at 5 fighting with the -1 wound because I'm using the flail with expertise.
Yeah, it does say in the description the only thing you don't count is bonus dice. So I mean that's a judgment call.
Did you mark your injuries on your sheet already?
I did.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
All right, so it is 5d, keep 5, right?
Yeah, just roll the macro and it should calculate it all.
Okay.
Look right. Kept 5.
Yeah.
Rolled 9. Kept 5. -2 for your injuries.
I don't think I don't get any bonus dice though, do I?
He doesn't get any bonus.
Oh, if berserker
attack,
yeah, that's gotta just do that manually because.
Okay.
What's your fighting?
It's 5, but I have expertise bludgeons.
You would roll 66, keep 5. Yeah.
66, keep 5. Okay.
Yep.
-2.
So 24. Oh my gosh. He's gonna have to take another wound. So he hits you and you hit him back, and it's like he's staggering now badly. And now it is your turn.
You think you can kill me, Septon? You might, but you're going to hell before I am. And I'm just gonna try to batter the fuck out of him again.
Yeah. Now you should be able to use the macro. If you want to aim, then just throw a 1 in your rolled die modifier, right?
Yeah, fuck it, might as well. Not doing anything else.
Because that's your lesser, right? So 27. And he's going to have to take another wound. So you're just pounding him into sand now. Let me see how much endurance he has, because I don't know. That might be it for him. Okay. He cannot take any more wounds.
Oh, baby.
So you're slamming him, and he's just like cowering. He has no.
Just laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Just kicking his ass.
Kyburn. What's he gonna do?
Oh, let's see here. His move is. Let me take a look. Wasn't it 4?
It is 4.
He can haul ass.
I think this is 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's going to charge Mr. Reloading Poor Fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
So where is his charge on the map?
There is no charge. You'll have to do it. You can actually do it through longsword. Just give him a -1 modifier on kept dice. Right.
Yep.
That's actually how we should have been doing it. So 16 versus that is 2 degrees of success, 10 damage.
His damage is 14 because he charged. He gets +2 on a charge damage.
Yep, so 14, that's correct.
Oh,
Minus
got him.
5, 9 damage, not quite enough to kill him. So it cuts him, but doesn't drop him. Alright, poor fellow's turn. This guy, with you in his face, basically is forced to reload, like screaming in terror as you stand over him. This guy only has the guy in front of Landor shoots at Landor point blank with an aim. 20 versus 11, 2 degrees of success.
Oh shit! God damn it.
Whoops. 2 degrees of success minus 9, so let's see, 12 minus 7, that is 15 damage. How would you like to deal with that?
What? It was 12 damage.
12 damage.
Minus 7 armor.
Yep, minus 7 armor because of
5
piercing.
hit points.
12 damage. Yeah, what did I say? Yeah, 12 damage.
12 minus 7, so 5 hit points of damage, so he'll have to take 2 injuries.
Okay.
Unless he's endured.
Alright, you take 2 injuries, yeah.
Okay, I got those. Just let me set the injuries, guys, because
Sure.
it's just easiest. Okay, so he takes 2 injuries. This poor fellow up here has to shoot at Landor as well. That's his best shot.
Oh shit.
He aims. Same exact thing.
Shit.
5 damage.
2 more injuries. That's the maximum amount of injuries he can take.
Okay. Okay, so now he has all those injuries. This guy reloads. This guy has a shot at Maegor, but I'm going to give him cover of 5. Fair?
Yeah, what's covered?
Makes sense.
Cover gives your combat defense 5.
Solid. Oh man.
So 17, that's 2 degrees of success.
12 damage. I have 6 armor when you count the piercing, so I take 6 points of damage. So I take 2 injuries.
Okay, you have 4 total injuries now.
That's the max I can take.
Next is Sir Adam. What would you like Sir Adam to do? Do you guys have control of him? Probably not, huh? You will now. He is yours to command.
Are these soldiers going? They haven't done anything.
God damn it. I hate that. Yeah, soldiers gotta go.
Because that one guy died and it fucked
Yeah, unless you copy them all, it's a pain in the butt. Okay, I'll just, let me just add this guy to the initiative track. Cause...
Sure, see, he's not doing shit back there, so... I'll kill him later. Then you don't have to worry about it.
They were after the crossbowmen, I believe. Is that correct?
They were. Yeah, I think they were after... I think they were tied with Sir Adam, if I remember correctly.
I just put him after the poor fellow. Yeah. Where did they go? Where did they go? Oh, there they are.
They're under Martin Rivers, a.k.a. Reginald Strong.
It's his alias. Okay. Alright, so there they are. So they're the bottom. Okay, so this guy is going to run to get down here.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy is going to charge Sir Adam.
Balls.
Alright, so longsword. No roll mess. -1 kept dice modifier, no static bonus. 13 versus 7. 2 degrees. Damage 5. Damage, so it's 10 versus his chainmail, so he takes 5 damage. Everybody cool? Good with that?
Yep.
Yep, seems good.
All right.
Better
So
him than me.
Sir Adam, you're up.
He's gonna clobber this soldier with an aim and standard attack.
Sir Adam is?
Sir Adam on the soldier that just attacked him.
Okay, so down.
Down
Yeah,
there.
okay,
He's gonna
gotcha.
clean up the back.
Yep. And if you want to aim, just add a roll dice modifier.
Oh, baby.
19. So 19. So that's 3 degrees of success. It's 21 damage minus 5. Yeah, that guy's dead. He definitely does clobber him. I knew there was a reason I was wanting to put X's through guys and not delete them. Okay. So that guy is dead. Sir Landor. Looking rough up there.
Looking like a shit cunt. Alright. I guess aim attack with the Castle Forge Bastard Sword sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So we can get rid of this fuck. It's not bad.
27.
Shouldn't there be minuses in there?
There's minus. There's not a minus. Why
Just
not?
subtract 4.
Yeah.
So 23.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure that kills him, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He does. He's fumbling with the thing and gets hacked down. All right,
absolutely demolished.
King Maegor.
Let me see here. I am going to start with. Can I decide if I'm going to use a destiny after the roll, or do I need to do it before?
Yeah, technically need to do it, but it depends what you're using it for.
I'm going to do a greater action disarm on Mr. Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And if I fail, I'm going to spend a destiny point to do a normal attack. To a lesser action normal attack.
Oh yeah, you can do it afterwards then.
Okay. I'm going to disarm him with black fire.
Plus.
Let's see if my negative is in there. Well, it's -4.
Mm-hmm. I think what's happening
So
is Anyway, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
It's 25, which is 2 degrees of success, which is what I needed. So his weapon goes 1d6 yards in a random direction.
Gonna hit me in the back of the head, my king. Shit.
Just roll the 1d6. And then roll a d9, I guess. So 4 yards away, in what direction? Roll d9. And 1 will be north of him. So 1, 2, 3. So his weapon is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's over here.
Jesus.
So basically, how does that look with black fire on the ball and chain?
Basically, Maegor is exchanging blows with Rivers and catches the chain. It gets wrapped around the blade and he twists it, at the same time kicking at the thigh of Martin and yanking it free as it goes flying through the air, and Maegor smirks as he has disarmed his opponent.
Nice. How many injuries does Maladon have, by the way?
4, looks like. if I remember correctly, I ate shit pretty hard. No, was it 4 or 2?
I thought it was 2, and
Yeah,
because
it
you
was
have
2.
the wounds. Okay.
I have
Okay.
the wound and 2, yeah.
Yeah, I know what's wrong with my injury thing, but I'm just okay.
Yeah, me and Landor
Yep,
have
4. You have 4, right?
And I got 2 because I'm a fucking machine. Made only to kill men.
So, in response to losing his blade, he runs over and picks it up. And that's his turn.
Oh, shit!
Moon is going to...
Die?
He's going to reckless attack.
Balls.
So reckless attack is... that's plus 2d or 1d?
I think
Reckless attack is plus 1d, and it is minus 5.
5, yeah.
Combat defense.
26.
Looks like another wound to me. Maybe. Well, no. Let's take a look here. So how much is 26? That's going to be a lot of damage.
So you have, what's your combat defense? 7?
7. Pretty shit.
That is 4 degrees of success.
His wounds aren't being calculated, though, I don't think.
Oh,
no.
It's not. So he is...
Hold on.
You want
I'm
to
gonna
roll that manually?
I'll just... yeah, hold on. I'm going to fix it.
I'm about to say, he's rolling pretty good for a man who's on his...
So he would be 10d6 keep 3. Or no, keep 4.
Yeah, I'm going to do that again. Now this should work. I hope. That looks
great,
right.
But...
Yeah.
That looks right. Yeah.
So what, 2?
So yeah, that's 2. Yep, just missed on 3. So 26 damage.
How many wounds? I can take quite a few injuries still. So 6, 20, 18, 20. I'd have to take. Would I even negate if I took all my injuries anyway?
If you
26.
Let's see, he did 26 damage. You have 10 for your armor, so that's down to 16.
Oh yeah.
You would have to take 3 injuries because you only have 1 hit point left, right?
Yeah, sounds good to take 3 injuries rather than take a wound. So yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
you
just...
take 3 injuries. You got 1 injury left to take.
All right, let me mark those for you.
Okay, I'll leave it alone. I have its own 5.
So 5 injuries.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I get to Berserker
and
back.
You is it just a wound on Berserker, or is it injuries as well?
I think it's injuries too.
Any injury or
Okay,
wound.
you do get to attack.
Oh.
It's probably going to be the end.
Okay, so that's 60 keep 5. Yes.
Yeah, minus 5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
minus 5.
66 keep 5 minus 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
That still hits, though. That still hits is the thing. 1 degree of success. That is... Oh, he still has most of his hit points left. So let's see. Does it have shattering?
Fuck. Let me just roll it and see.
Flail, right?
Yeah, just a
No,
flail.
this won't count. So it's shattering 1, and I do 15 damage on 1 degree.
Yeah, so let me mark down. Okay, so minus 7. That's 1 degree of success. So that's 8 damage. Okay, 8 damage. And then
What armor is he wearing?
he's wearing, I think it's splint.
So he will be down to 6 armor.
6 armor, and then he took 8 damage. So okay, so he's hit but not taken out. But now it is your turn.
Yeah, now he's aim attack. Let's be done with him. Get fucked, little man.
So how do you kill him?
So I hit him once, obviously, to soften him up, but when he struck me again, and I'm getting tired of getting beat on by this old fucking looking guy. I'm sure he's shorter than me too, and I do not like to get bested by shorter men. And I just fucking wind up and just smash him, just right in the head, maybe knock the head off or just bust it open.
Yeah, it just explodes like a watermelon.
And then just scream out in front of both this, come fucking die!
Alright. Sir Kyburn.
He is going to aim and finish off this poor fellow.
Okay. It should not be too difficult.
No.
Yep. And he does. Chops through him like butter.
How much health does Qyburn have left?
Did
he take any damage?
No, he's not taking any damage.
I thought he got hit by it. No, he didn't. Adam got hit.
Yeah, Adam got hit. No, he's fine.
Baller.
The poor fellows are... So this one reloads. This one... let's see. Does he have a shot? Let's find out. Yes. Aim, shoot at the king.
Hero fellow.
21.
It's pretty rough.
Take a wound.
Okay, go ahead and mark it on your sheet. Just do the tick thing. That one reloads.
Just the wounds, not the other things.
Yeah, just the wounds. You can do injuries too. The injury should already be set.
Oh, you already moved it to 4.
Yep.
Never mind.
Yeah, the problem is my I guess capitalization counts, and my scripts are updating the wrong field, so I will fix that next time.
Bring it. Here we go.
Alright, so they both are aiming at... They're actually both recklessly attacking.
Baller. Alright.
So... Longsword, 1, 18.
So how much is that gonna be?
So 15 damage.
15 minus armor, 5. I'm gonna have to take a injury again. Oh, I get to smash the fuck. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's my last injury I can take, but I'm gonna use it to smash the fuck out of him.
Okay.
So... Roll 6d6, keep 5 minus 6, I think.
Yes.
Still hits, probably.
That hits 1 degree.
15.
Minus this, that puts him at 2.
Shattering 1.
Shattering 1. Okay, so shatters his chainmail somehow. Okay, so this guy does the same thing. Does the same thing. 1.
Wound.
Okay. Tick up your wound and then retaliate. So now it's
What's
6.
the combat defense after -5?
Their combat defense is 4.
Oh, yeah.
So you got 2 degrees of success.
What's that? Say it again.
Oh, yeah, no, he's right.
He got 2 degrees of success.
Oh, okay. Yep. I hear you. Mm-hmm.
And I get to smash this guy. Now, I have 2 wounds here, so how does that...
So you would do... Is it normally... You were rolling 6d6 keep 5, right?
Yeah, I think I've been
so
fucking
6d6 keep 4.
6d6 4, okay.
6.
Yeah. Get fucked, little man!
So they're like cutting into you, but at the same time you're just like... It's just speeding up their demise, right? I think that's all the soldiers, so... Yeah, Sir Adam.
Sir Adam's going to charge the closest person available. Let me check his stats here. He's got a move of 4, so he can go 8.
Oh, get on the man. Oh.
That's a charge.
Old Sir Adam.
I'm going to subtract -1 from my kept dice. He
One
rolled a
1 degree of success.
so
He
that's
takes
9
yeah,
damage.
9 damage. So he takes 3 damage. Okay. It is Sir Landor's turn.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure he can make that distance to the next poor man. Yeah, seems right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe able to charge, actually?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
6 is a charge.
Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, it is. And so it is.
Yeah, and you should just be able to put a -1 in your kept dice, and it should all be fine now that I fixed
Okay.
the wounds and whatnot.
Kept dice -1. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's 15 versus 7, 2 degrees of success, 14 damage. 14 damage minus 5, 9, so he's at 3. Okay. The king, what should you do?
So let's see here. Going to move and then cautious attack. So I might have to manually roll here.
They shouldn't. So cautiously attack what, minus 1d? So just hit the macro and just do minus
2 dice.
Don't worry about the wounds. The wounds are already in there. I did fix that. So just whatever from whatever you're doing. That should work.
Let's make sure it does. Yep, the -4 is factored in there, so 20.
Wow. Okay, so 20 versus him. That's 2 degrees of success.
16 damage.
16 damage and plus your piercing, right? So
Yes, piercing 2.
So he takes 12 damage. He's going to take let me see. Oh man. So 12, so it's 4. So did I say 12 damage?
16 minus whatever his armor -2.
Yes. Or
Yeah,
plus.
12 damage. You said
Yep.
12 damage.
Yep. So he gets. So he's going to take 2 injuries, and that'll negate both. Okay. No, I said at 12 damage. So yeah. So he'll take 4 damage. All right. And he retaliates with a zeal, with a reckless attack.
Zoinks.
Jinkies.
So that takes your combat, that destroys your shield.
Yep.
And
so
then
our shield is now useless for combat.
And then 1 goes over into your.
Well, it's only shattering 2, remember?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yep.
gotcha.
So
Mhm.
my armor's still 8. I'll take a wound. I'm not going to worry about figuring out the other stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you your wound. Okay, you have 2 wounds now.
2 wounds, 4 injuries.
Okay.
And my combat defense for the rest
It's
of this
10.
round, at least, is now 13 because I used cautious attack.
Okay. Yep.
And
Just
it'll
keep
be
that in
10
mind.
going forward.
Yeah, he can't. Nobody. I don't think anybody can attack you this round. But he's dead. The beast in the middle.
I can move 6 on a run, right?
And a charge.
Oh, I can charge.
Yeah, you can charge.
3.
Oh, yes. I probably won't fucking hit any of these guys, or either one of these guys, but might as well give it a shot. So, I mean, the only thing that Maladin sees is his own blood and people hiding in the bushes up here with crossbows that have been shooting at his king and his allies, and he's pretty fucking tired of that. So, like a bull in a china shop is gonna bull rush these guys and smash the fuck out of this guy in front of me, or attempt to.
Yeah, just use the macro and put a -1 and kept dice. That should work.
Okay. I may actually this may be one I miss. I'll give him. Man, what?
Yeah, because your injuries. But that is not right.
No, 655 is that's 17. It should be an 11, right? No, wait, yeah.
Yeah,
That's weird.
That is weird.
Well, there's 2 pluses on the 3, so maybe that's why.
Okay, that's weird.
So it
should
be 6, 5, 11, so 6, 5, 11, 16 plus 3 minus 6 would be 13, right?
Yeah.
Is my math right?
Yeah. 13. That is 2 degrees of success.
Take 15.
10. So that takes.
Charged him, didn't you?
Yes, that's 2. So that's actually 17 times 2.
34.
That kills him.
Just smash his fucking skull in.
So
point at the other guy. You.
He's pretty far from everybody.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with Kyburn?
Was there somebody hiding where Maladin is? Was there a second archer there?
Yeah, there's another dude there.
I'm about to fuck him. Like, actually, against this tree.
Kyburn will just... Let's see, what's his move 4, I believe, or 3, I think it was.
He has 4.
He's going to start heading towards the king. He's going to sprint. So what is it? 4 times 4 minus bulk.
Which he has no bulk. So 16. He'll get there. All right. Here comes the archers, the last hurrah. So the one facing Landor aims and shoots.
It's in a bad way. That's probably going to be
2 degrees.
Piercing 2 to 12 damage. Piercing 2. He's going to take a wound. Probably. Yeah.
12 minus 7. Yeah, that would have to be a wound.
You want me to add it?
Yeah, go ahead. You can add it.
Okay.
And
then... Landor's doing okay. He has 2 wounds? 3?
I think that's his second.
Okay.
Alright, then that guy reloaded. Praying to God he doesn't get killed.
Yeah, well.
Soldiers are all dead. Sir Adam is up.
Sir Adam is going to aim and bring the house down with his long axe.
Okay. Three degrees of success.
21 damage.
21 damage. That's going to have to be a... So basically it knocks this guy to the ground, what we're going to say. And he just kind of looks up stunned. And the rest of the poor fellows attempt to run. So we'll just role play this out. Yeah, you can just smash him.
I was going to try to smash the crossbow out of his hands and fucking grab him. Because I'm going to fucking
and then do
this
it.
Guy.
Then do it. Just do it role play wise. Because I need to mop up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I smash the crossbow out of his hands, grab him as he's trying to run away, and then just slam his head against this tree repeatedly until he stops moving.
All right.
And then let him fall to the ground.
And you do that covered in your own blood and whatnot. And the rest of the poor fellows are just like fleeing, or Landor can cut down the one that's next to him.
Landor turns as the poor fellow turns to run, dropping his unloaded crossbow. Landor pierces him through the spine as he collapses like a wet sack of shit. Maegor drives Blackfire into the ground besides the collapsed Martin and puts his foot on his chest and stands over him, goes, I have questions for you, while he, does his best to ignore the wounds and injuries that he sustained in the combat.
And as you're standing there, he reaches down and grabs a dagger. Go ahead and somebody roll me. Everybody around him can roll agility, quickness with their wounds. With their wounds. So just do yeah.
Should I even? Yeah, I guess I'll try.
You never know.
Yeah, that's about what I expected. My king! My arm.
I actually, with my foot, somehow assist him.
Nah.
Let's see how Kyburn and Adam.
Yeah, that's who's gonna do it, right? I mean,
they're not really that hurt. Right?
We're fucked.
I mean, Kyburn has no. Yeah,
it's not bad.
So as he's got the dagger, he's going to, looks like he shove it in his own throat, and Kyburn kind of grabs it with his hand, and Sir Adam kind of dog piles on top of him and rips the dagger away.
Oh, no. It is not that easy. People like you will be questioned by people like me, and when I have the information I need, then I will allow you to die.
He doesn't say anything. Actually, he kind of like gives this thin smile and says, "It's too late. The child will be dead by now."
Where is the child?
And he doesn't say anything.
King Maegor takes his glove off, takes his finger, looking at his fingernail, and slowly presses it into one of the injuries of Martin and said, where is the child?
Go ahead and do persuasion, intimidate. And don't count any wounds against that, so just do 66, keep 3.
I think I get a bonus for being Blood of
You
Balerion.
do +2.
+2, so
yeah,
17.
just +2. Yep. So he just kind of screams out and says, "Fine. The salt pans. We know that they were going to try to board a ship to Bravos, but my men have already found her."
Her. What is her name? What does she look like?
Don't know.
Tell me the name of your men in salt pans.
He's like, just like, Lancel Weathers.
Thank you. And he withdraws his finger from the wound and puts both hands up upon his face and drives his thumbs into his eyes.
He just screams out in agony, and the 2 hedge knights kind of step back, like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get away from that." And yeah, I mean, you drive your thumbs into his brain, and he expires in front of you.
He releases him, spits on him, and turns to the 2 hedge knights, both of you, and ignores Sir Adam's initial cowardice. And goes, both of you fought well today. I believe both of you are owed 2 gold dragons for your work here. And there's more of that to come. Are you with me?
They look at each other, and they look at you, and they're like, "My liege, is it not wise to go and Convalesce, you are all injured. Badly.
We will convalesce as we take a boat along the Red Fork to the Trident to Salt Pans. How many days would it be approximately?
I don't know, a couple, yeah. A few. Yeah. They nod and agree. Very well. And they take their payment. Very rich men now.
And then he looks to his two Kingsguard. Says, well fought today. Patch yourselves. We head for the Red Fork.
Yes, Your Grace. I'm just wiping blood off my face and figuring out what teeth I'm missing.
Maladon, find a sack amongst these poor fellows and bring us Septimune's head along. A lesson to those who defy the king.
And I smirk, with pleasure, Your Grace. And then,
What
get a
face he has
sack and-
left.
Yeah, what little face that he has left, I'll scoop it into a bag.
Make sure you line it with plastic.
Absolutely. Don't want anything to drip on the way.
Alright, so go ahead and remove all your wounds and injuries. Just kind of hand wave the healing. It takes you a week to get to Salt Pans at this point. On the way, you heal as best you can, procuring someone at one of the local towns to administer such healing. So by the time you get here, you're feeling well enough, although these wounds probably will, in a way, stay with you for the rest of your lives.
Good.
I like pain.
I like pain.
Yeah. And as you arrive in the Salt Pans, your attention is quickly brought to a nearby boat, which is fuming, and you see clearly there have been fighting on it, and there's a lot of people like running away from the area as you kind of like just sail into the harbor.
Who appears to be fighting? I mean, I can presume.
Yeah, you're not sure. There's it's on the ship that you're kind of next to, and on the gangplank and around the area, there's dead men laying everywhere, and there's.
Do they have any heraldry or anything?
No, not that you can tell. No, actually, you can tell that some of them have. Well, I'm going to say you can't tell at this point. But not I don't remember what house has control of Salt Pans, but not that house.
Cox?
Yeah, that sounds right, but I think there's two in Salt Pans, but
It's not the Cox, though.
and your captain looks over and he's like, "My liege, looks dangerous here. Do you want me to set sail back into the river?"
No. We will land. We will find out what's going on here.
And he nods, and then he does bring you in and put you on the dock.
Keep the boat here. We may need you shortly.
And he nods, "Of course, my lord." And he just kind of watches.
Maegor kind of goes up to one of the dead bodies to see if he can identify if they have, any signs of being part of the Faith Militant or House Cox or House Hawick or anything else.
Yeah, no, they're not wearing anything, but you do see in the boat a man kind of kneeling and crawling, and you hear a babe's cry over the silence of all the dead.
Sir Maladin, Sir Lander, watch my back, and Maegor hops down into the boat and approaches the sound of the crying babe.
As you do, the man that's crawling, you can see what he's going for. There's a basket, and he's kind of over top of it at this point, and kind of turns around and sees you as you come, and he's like, "Ah, you've come."
Lancel.
And he nods as he draws a dagger out over the basket, and he's like, "This is vile business, but I suppose I will need to stoop to your level to keep you from plaguing this world any longer."
King Maegor draws his sword and goes to chop the dude's head off before he can kill his potential daughter.
No intrigue. We're going for it. Okay.
No, you don't fucking you don't threaten King Maegor's only possible living child.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm trying to go in on it as well, seeing that. And he said, "Watch his back."
dang.
This is the only heir that we know of for our king. No, we're not letting that fucking happen. And if so, this guy's gonna be in a world of fucking pain. Like,
What do you guys think? Agility, quickness? Best one gets there first.
I'll fucking throw something at him if I need to. I don't know.
Actually, looking at burning a destiny point.
Yeah. I'll throw my fucking flail at him if I think I could do it.
Such as his drive of securing an heir, I'm double checking what destiny points.
A burning one lets you. The main thing you can do is add a key thing to the scene, right? I would give you another kept dice. A whole nother kept dice if you want. That's the best I can do for burning one. In a one shot, I mean.
What's frickin' frack my Kingsguards? Can I give them the dice? Or is it me only?
You could give them the dice.
I was gonna burn mine and make it to where there's like a spear or something I could grab and just fucking fling it at the guy as hard as I can.
You could do that. That would be a marksmanship roll, though.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
Let's look at Lander.
Lander, I don't believe, is that great at that. 3 agility. Well, how about Sir Kyburn and Adam? Are they?
That's who I'm looking at right now. I'm just seeing what.
Kyburn is 3.
He's a 3. I'm guessing Adam is also a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, and he's got 1 bonus dice, or 1 bonus.
For I mean, I think I have 3 with 1 bonus dice and quickness, and I'd burn mine if I thought it could help me to get this.
Maegor, it's gonna be Maegor's hand. He's gonna burn the dice for himself. He's not gonna. Yeah. He's gonna do it himself.
I'll burn mine to try to get there as well.
Finally, a good roll.
Yeah.
So, and that's your agility?
That is agility. Actually, you know what? I should have rolled higher because I have an agility flaw, don't I? And I picked 4. Yeah. I should have rolled 1 extra dice because the penalty dice isn't factored. It's treated, almost like a wound.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
which is like
doing that wrong this whole time.
Yeah, me too. But the thing is, it's difficult, right? Because it's weird because things that are derived from it have to derive it as 1 less. So
yep.
It's
and that's where I've always done it wrong because I was like, you just treat it as 3, where it's actually just treated as -1d. But like you said, all your passive results are derived from the lower number.
Yeah. So Sir Maladin, you can roll as well.
Sure.
You have quickness?
I do, in fact. I was gonna
Five-
burn my
5d6.
destiny.
Yep. So go ahead and roll 5d6. Keep 4.
Just out of curiosity. That's what it should have been. It should have been 22.
Okay.
Okay, so 5d6 keep 4. You said?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. Wow.
You don't care if the child dies.
I guess not.
I got a 23, so
All right. Here's his. He burns a destiny point as well. So that extra 6 actually was. So he goes to drive he's already hurt, right? He goes to drive this blade into the child, and you come down just quick enough to take his arm off at the shoulder, and the blade just kind of lands in the crib next to the child, and the arm kind of next to the basket, and the bloody stump just squirts out blood all over the babe in there, and he kind of dies quite quickly.
Maegor reaches down and gently takes the dagger out and throws it into the water, and someone fetch me a clean rag.
Yes, Your Grace, and I'll try to find a clean rag somewhere in this fucking mess of a battlefield that is of here.
Yeah, you walk off the boat and find something that would be suitable.
Maegor kind of looks at the baby. How old is she?
Looks like actually probably 1 or 2. 1-ish, yeah.
Okay.
2
Does
they would be
look
moving.
anything like a Balerion?
Yes, actually it does. But the strange thing is, House Towers has been in control of, well, Harrenhal for more than 2 years, as far as you can remember.
Are there any survivors of the Faith Militant?
It doesn't look like it.
And who? Yeah, basically, once we get this baby secured, I want to find out who the hell tried to stop the Faith Militant or who attacked them. Because they're getting a big ass fucking reward.
Basically, so the local soldiery is coming this way quite quickly at this point. They're like rushing, right? And at their head, give me 1 second here.
There's a guy who's about to get a fat bonus if he's the one who set this whole thing up to protect the kid. Like, holy shit.
When you get home tonight, there's going to be another story on your house.
The title in front of your name.
Yep.
This guy. Oh, man.
So running with them at their head is Lord Boris. And he kind of like rushes towards the ship with a sword in his hand, looking very concerned.
Lord Boris. You track the Faith Militant here? He asked questioningly.
He nods. He's like, my contact told me that this was actually, that they had moved from Fair Market to here when you did not arrive. And he's out of breath. and I came to see the child safe myself, since I did not know if you were dead.
The Faith Militant cannot stop a dragon. He's kind of like awkwardly holding the basket or the baby. As you've done well, Lord Boris, and you've served me faithfully. You have stopped these men from committing a grave injustice against me and the crown, and you will be rewarded accordingly.
He's like, I live only to serve, my liege.
Yes.
And he bows and kind of, do me the honor. I would only wish to see the babe. That is enough reward for me.
See with your eyes. You kinda,
Yeah, well, yeah. And he just gets a better look at it. He's not like getting too close, obviously.
Maegor ain't taking no chances.
Yeah, no, understood.
Not after today.
Tell me, what is your wife's name, Lord Boris?
I have no wife, my lord. I have never taken one.
Tis such a shame. I was looking to name this young babe and was looking for inspiration.
And he nods and he's like, well, my mother's name, he takes a deep breath, was Tiana.
Oh, Maegor just kind of like pinches his nose. I will tell you what, Lord Boris, we are to return to King's Landing, return home, secure your castle, and I will summon you to King's Landing to discuss your reward and faithful service.
And he nods and he's like, of course, my lord, anything that I can do for the crown. And at that point, the screen fades, and you see a picture of Maegor on Balerion flying back to King's Landing with a babe in his arms. That is it.
Amazing.